That's our north property boundary right there. That's the Ingram's house up there on the way up high in the hill. This is the Spur Cross Ranch, where they raise quarter horses and cattle, I think. These are Nathan's neighbors, the Moores, Keely Moore, and I don't remember her husband's name. And this is where we started putting in the new road right here. That's the culvert pipe that Nick hurt his back lifting. We had about a 20-foot section that was supposed to be really lightweight. Ha. Beautiful day, perfect temperature. Not too hot, not too cold. So this is it. House is staked out, except I wanted to move it about 75 feet more that direction. Our property line's about, maybe 200 feet away there. And so all this plowed area that you see here, over to the fence corner over there, and running all the way down, and then it drops off over the edge of the hill there. There's a wooded section. I'll go down there in a second. But they have a great view up here. There's the Spanish Peaks over there. I don't know if you can see my finger there. And the highlight range is right here. No snow on them, or very little snow right now. I think that big mountain that goes up there, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Jumbo. Yeah, it's got to be Jumbo Mountain. There's Shannon's equipment and Spur Cross Ranch. So no one's ever going to build over in here, which is really nice. We do have a few houses here that we can landscape away, but probably pretty nice people. That over there is Axtell Ankeny Road. You can't really see it, but it's a gravel road. Up and there is a eagle right up there. I don't know if you can see that. I wish I could zoom in. It's going right in front of the cloud there. It's a bald eagle. Big white head on him. So let's see. That over there is what's the name of that mountain over there? I can't remember. Never been up it. There's the Bridgers. That hump right there is Sacagawea and Ross Peak. That dip over there is the Flathead Pass. You can actually there's actually a gravel road that goes through that to the other side of the mountains over there. And that's that pass right there, that low area is where the 90 freeway heads towards Livingston and then over towards eastern Montana Billings. So yeah, great view up here. There's the neighbor's house over there. Now there's one other lot here that's I think it's about 30 acres if I recall, and that joins this one. So I don't know where they're going to build, but I'm hoping they build down that direction. I don't think they'll want to build up here because it'd be too close to us, so we'll see. And then somewhere over there, let's see, I think you can see Rattlesnake. I'm sorry, Cowboy Trail. The Cowboy Trail house is right over that direction right there. And I don't see it, but I'm pretty sure you'll be able to see it from the house. Yeah, so we'll go down and take a look at the trees. So all this is part of the property here. Not too steep. That's a decent climb down there, a decent hike. Got the American flag flying over there. It's pretty conservative out here, unlike Bozeman. Let's see, over there is Gallatin Gateway. All that line of trees down there is all along the river, the Gallatin River. And what else we got here? Not a lot to see. So this is the edge of our property right here. We're going to drive over to the bench here. Well, some poor animal met its fate right here. So make sure there's no critters under here. Yeah, so this is the top of our property here, and it stretches back down there to the canal, and then straight up the hill towards, that's the Wee's house right there, and then the property boundary is just about 300 feet south of their house on the hill. All that's the Leslie's, and then looking over at Cowboy Trail over here, you can see that boy's house. So we own most of this valley down here till about the center where that, there's kind of a ditch right there in the center of the field, and that's the edge of the property there. Stretches up and back of our house there, kind of between ours and McLeod's. And then most of this bench up here, in fact, all this bench is ours here, this top pasture, and a little bit of the hill on the other side there too. So it just kind of comes up and around to where we are right here. So I was telling you about the cactus we have up here. I know it's hard to believe there's cactus in Montana, but there's one of those little wicked things right there. And there's one. I guess they were blooming not too long ago. Kim said she saw them blooming. These rocks with lichen on them are pretty typical of Montana. But you can see it's pretty dry up here. But yeah, there's cactus all over the place up here. Tons of it. You got to really watch your step if you're hiking around up here in the dark. Some more right there. Bunch of it there. Whole bunch of it right there. Gosh, I wish I'd have seen these things blooming. So the trail, we have a trail, about 10 miles of trails through here. And I was on one earlier when I was driving along that grassy area there, towards the canal. They cut about a 4-foot wide path through there, and it runs along the other side of the stream down there through the valley. And then right here in our driveway, it cuts north. And I used to mow this with my DR mower, but now that they're doing it, that's even better. So it runs up there to our little actress who lives right up there. That's her house up there, the top of that upper pasture there. And anyway, it cuts over onto her property and across this there's a 160-acre parcel up there that somebody just bought. I wish I would have bought it, where all the trees are. And yeah, then it continues around the backside of the hill. There's more properties over there. So. You can see why they put the guardrail in here. don't know if you can see, but this is a choke cherry tree. And right now they're all green, but they'll turn like this dark purple color. They're real bitter. People make jam and some other stuff out of them, but the bears love them. And so they will be over here in the fall and clean this tree off. So I'll go down the trail. This is the trail that they mowed on our property here. Let's take a look. Now these little purple flowers here are a noxious weed. It's called a spotted knapweed, and some years they're bad. This year they're pretty bad, but maybe next year they'll be gone. I don't know. I like to spray for them, but we have so many acres of these things that it's almost a lost cause. So a few thistles, some lupine. It's been pretty hot, so a lot of the flowers have wilted. More choke cherries. They're a little riper here. See, they're kind of that reddish color there. They'll turn dark purple. I don't know what that is. Pretty though. Right here is the edge of our property, so this is Julia's property from about here on out, but we're on a trail easement, so ooh, some big thistles. Off to the right here is 174 acres I wanted to buy, but this place kind of ruined it right here. It's just, they put this big equestrian center right in the middle of a major elk route up here. They go from back here in the Flying D Ranch up to the top of the hill there, which is where I'm headed to right now. Take a quick look here. So that's looking back over towards Bozeman, the Bridger Range. This is that 174 acres. Nobody's built on it yet, though. It might come back on the market. You never know. But you can see why I like it. It's just, you have a big view of nothing out here, which I think is just fantastic. There's a road, actually it's just up here at the top of the hill, and it's dirt. It stretches out there, it heads towards those hay bales. Down there a few miles, makes a big right, and kind of winds around and gets up, heads up to Norris Road. I think it's about maybe 8, 9, 10 miles or something like that. And that's the road that connects to the Madison River, and then the Madison Valley over here, which is the next valley over. That's the Tobacco Roots. You can just see the tips of them over there, another mountain range. So there's about 3 big mountain ranges: the Absarokas to the east, the Gallatins, Tobacco Roots, and then there's the Bitter Roots, and then you're pretty much into Idaho. A couple valleys over. Big valleys. Yeah, this is a beautiful property up here. Get a lot of snow up here too. There's the boys' house right there. I don't know if you can't see what I'm pointing to, but there's 3 houses there, 1, 2, 3, and they're right in the middle. this is the end of the road here. I don't know if you remember that video we took of calling in some big elk, but that was taken right up here at the top of the hill up there in the there's a bunch of trees up there. Pretty dense actually when you get up to the top. And yeah, he just came right up. He came from, oh gosh, must have heard it 2 miles away, and came charging across there, that field, and right up here at the top of the hill where we were waiting for him. So over here, we've got Schweitzer's house. They're probably our least favorite people here. And then Bill Westland and his wife Perry live over here. Bill's building a plane in his barn. Mike Bowen, my partner, built a barn / hangar for him. Pretty peaceful up here. Not a lot of people. Not a lot of traffic. Definitely cooler when you get up there on the top of the hill. It's probably 2 degrees cooler up there. Just dropping down here, you can really feel the temperature difference. Still too hot for me. So what's interesting about this spot and these little knolls and things here, seems like you're in the middle of nowhere. But master bedroom is probably 200 feet that way, right there behind the juniper tree. If I were to back up a little bit, you could see the top of the chimney. And that's Stampede Trail that runs up to the boys' house. And looks like we're going to get our typical afternoon thunder shower too. That one's moving the wrong way, but ours usually come from either the south or the west. So we'll see. This is the part that Kim hates. She hates when I do this. So of course I got to do it. So hang on.